I always believed that fears only exist in our minds, but everything changed that night when I heard the first steps on the stairs. At first, I thought it was just the creaking of old wood, but soon I realized the creaks were too rhythmic, too alive. Someone or something was coming up to me in the dark, and that was just the beginning. Moving into an old house on the outskirts of town seemed like a good idea. The silence, the absence of hustle and bustle, everything you need after long working days. The house was old but cozy, with spacious rooms, high ceilings, and large windows that let in the light. The staircase leading to the second floor creaked with every step, adding a special charm to the house, as if the old mansion was keeping secrets it didn't want to reveal. During the first few days, I was enchanted by this place. I loved getting up early in the morning and watching the sunlight seep through the dusty windows, filling the rooms with a soft glow. The kitchen, with its cracked tiles and old refrigerator, felt like a real find, and the living room with the fireplace gave a sense of comfort. But what fascinated me the most was the sound of the wind whispering between the old trees outside the window and the patter of raindrops on the roof. It all reminded me of childhood and summer vacations in the countryside, but one night I heard something I didn't expect. A creak. It wasn't the usual sound from the wind or old boards, it was too distinct, too rhythmic. I opened my eyes and listened. The sound was like footsteps, slow, measured, as if someone was carefully stepping on each stair, testing their strength. I chalked it up to old wood, probably cracking with age, and fell asleep with difficulty. The next night the sound repeated, but this time it was more insistent. The steps became part of a nightly ritual, waking me up at the same time every night at 3 o'clock. The steps seemed to be approaching, as if someone was slowly climbing the stairs, step by step, stopping right in front of my bedroom door. At first, I thought it was just my imagination. After all, the house was old, and the noises could be the result of its age. But when one morning I went downstairs, I noticed something that sent a chill down my spine. On the dusty steps of the staircase, there were clear footprints, as if someone had walked up barefoot. The steps weren't mine. I never walked barefoot in the house, and the footprints led only upward with no trace of a return. I tried not to think about it, convincing myself that it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But with each passing night, I felt fear slowly creeping into my thoughts, like a cold mist filling the room. I started noticing small things, strange shadows in the corners when I walked by, a faint smell of dampness, as if someone had been in the house for a long time and never left. On the fourth night, I decided to check. I sat by the door holding a flashlight, trying not to make a sound. Time moved slowly. The clock hands crawled toward 3 o'clock. And then, as the minute hand froze at 3, I heard the steps, slow, deliberate, as if someone was savoring each step. I kept my hand on the door handle, holding my breath, and when the steps stopped right outside the door, I flung it open. There was no one on the stairs, but the flashlight illuminated the prints on the steps. They were wet, as if someone had just walked up them barefoot, leaving damp spots behind. The air carried a faint smell of rot, like water that had been stagnant in a basement. A wave of icy fear washed over me. I rushed back to my bedroom, slammed the door shut, and didn't leave until morning. After that night, I began locking my bedroom door. It gave me a false sense of security, but every evening as I lay down to sleep, I felt fear filling my room, as if the shadows were growing thicker. One night, I woke up to a loud bang, as if someone had forcefully pushed the door to my bedroom. The lock held, but I heard quiet, ragged breathing from the other side of the door, accompanied by a whisper that was barely audible. I pressed myself against the wall, trying not to make a sound. In the darkness of the room, I thought I saw the shadow outside the door slowly shift, as if trying to peer through the cracks. I closed my eyes and tried not to breathe, praying for the nightmare to end. That night, I didn't close my eyes. In the morning, I decided to leave, but I knew it was an escape. Whatever I did, this fear wouldn't leave me, but staying in the house became impossible. I packed my things and arranged with the realtor for a move, but each night until that day became more unbearable. The last night before leaving was the worst. I lay in bed, trying not to think about what was happening, when suddenly I heard a quiet whisper seeping through the cracks in the door. It came from right outside the door, and there was something unnatural, cold in the voice. It wasn't just a human hiss. It was something that crept directly into my mind. "I know you're listening," it whispered mockingly. I froze, feeling goosebumps run down my skin. The voice continued, growing more spiteful and taunting. "Why do you lock the door?" "I'll come in anyway. You know I'm here." I jumped out of bed and ran to the exit without thinking. The stairs creaked under my feet, but the sound was muffled by my fear. When I flung open the front door, for a moment I thought I saw in the hallway mirror the reflection of a shadow standing behind me. It was smiling, its eyes gleaming in the darkness, but when I turned around, no one was there. Just the empty hallway and the quiet creak of door hinges. For a moment I thought I heard the distant echo of footsteps on the stairs fading away, but I didn't wait to find out. The next day I left. I tried to forget this house, leaving it behind like a bad dream. But every night, waking up in the new apartment, I still hear those footsteps. Now they sound faint, as if far away, but sometimes they come closer and closer until they stop right outside my bedroom, and I'm not sure if the lock will hold this time.